Mark Griffiths from Sydney, Australia.
And what's the number of your sidecar?
Our sidecar's number 44.
So you've been here how long in the States racing sidecars?
We've been here for 15 days now, and this is our last meeting, which will be our 4th meeting here, race meeting. And we won last night at Wednesday night at Industry,
Right.
and I think we got 2 seconds before that. So
what do you think of the American tracks?
we love them. We love the American people and the American tracks, and everything that we've come across here is just wonderful.
So you've been to IMS?
We've been to IMS, Auburn, San Bernardino, and this final one at Costa Mesa.
You hit all the tracks?
We've hit all the tracks except Victorville. We had scheduled that in, but it got rescheduled after our plans were made, and that was the end of it. So,
what kind of racing do you do in Australia?
we do the Speedway sidecars, and our tracks are mainly quarter-mile tracks. So these tighter tracks are really sort of making us work a bit harder for our money, and the Americans are really taking it to us. So should be some good racing tonight.
And what's it like in Australia with sidecars? Is it a big deal? Or?
It is a big deal, yeah. There's a lot of competition. They have a World Championship now, which is in Australia this coming year, and there's a current Australian World Champion, and 3rd place was also an Australian, so actually the first 3 places. So it is very competitive, yes.
Can you give me the names of some of your other teammates that came with you on the trip?
My passenger is Lionel Cornwell. He comes from a road racing sidecar background. There's Phil Hudson, Eli Wright, they're the 17 team. And then there's Phil's son Shane Hudson, who's just turned seniors. He's come from the junior ranks after winning 3 Australian championships in the junior ranks. And he's basically putting the pace setter on us as we go along. So he's the man to beat in my opinion. And also Chris Jones here.
Right. What's different about your guys' sidecar besides I see you got a little different fairing on them and stuff? Anything else different about them?
Well, we've been staying at Joe's workshop.
Yeah.
So Joe's done all the measurements and checked out all the differences there. And there are some big differences, but Joe's made a lot of changes to his bike in the period that they've been there, and it's put him right amongst it, you know. So Chris will be, you know, he'll be up there pushing for a win tonight, I think.
You running the same basic engines and stuff?
Yeah, same engines. My bike and Chris's bike are identical engines, and the other 2 bikes are very similar also.
And what made you take off and come to America for sidecar racing? You just up and took off, right?
Oh no, it came about a couple of years ago when Phil was over here with his family holidaying in Disneyland, and he went to a meeting up in Industry and spoke to Joe Jones, and basically it was the warm welcoming and the enthusiasm that Joe showed about us wanting to come over that made the trip happen.
And what about Speedway in Australia? Is there Speedway racing like it is here too? Or?
Yes, it's very big here, but they mainly get poached and go off to England, so that's the main place they can race and make a living out of it over there. So as soon as they get quick enough, someone will come and pick them up and off they go to England. But the racing's still very competitive, as we've got Chris Holder and Jason Crump doing the World Grand Prix at the moment, and they're up amongst the leaders, so yeah, it is very competitive.
Yeah, I got a good interview with Jason Crump when he was at USA versus the World up in Auburn.
Right, yeah.
He's a nice bloke.
Yeah, he's a good bloke, yeah.
I called him a dude and he goes, I'm a bloke. Man.
I'm a bloke, yeah. No, there's a lot of good blokes in Australia. There's much friendlier people here than I've ever met anywhere. So.
What else you been doing here in California? You been to the beach? You been to Disneyland? Or?
Yeah, Disneyland. We went to Vegas. That's something else again. We've been up to Venice Beach. That's a little different. Out to the Queen Mary. Oh mate, we've put a lot of money into the American economy, so hopefully it's a good thing.
Well, I got to ask you about surfing, because all the big surfers over here, and Sydney's a hot spot for surfing.
Nah, can't do the both. They don't mix.
They don't mix, right?
Nah, not for us, mate.
Bikes and dirt, not
yeah,
water, right?
We're petrol heads. Rev heads.
Cool, dude. All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Not surfies. Thanks, mate.
We're all pretty happy to have those guys here because they're world champions. They're running twice the speeds we're running here, and their bikes are a lot more modern.
Are you talking about the Australian?
The Australian teams, yeah. And once I got to know them and I met and I realized how humble they are, how nice they are, I was blown away. Like, I want to move to Australia tomorrow. For being world champions, they're really humble. They're real nice people. They taught us a lot in the setup of the bike to go on the faster tracks and everything. So it was a real pleasure to have them. I hope they come back.
What do you think about the Harley?
The Harley to them was like a unicorn. They heard about it. They didn't know if it was real. They didn't know if it ran, and they were blown away because these guys spend thousands, you know, $10,000, $12,000 on their motors, and they never thought a Harley could keep up with them. But they weren't saying that. They were thinking that though. And when they saw us run the first time, they even admitted it. They said, as soon as we got off our bikes, we ran to the wall just to watch you guys run because the unicorns out on the track, you know, they didn't know what it would do, and they were blown away with our bikes, and we were blown away with their bikes. It was a really nice reunion we had.
So did you get any order?
No, not yet. This is still the unicorn, still the only one, but it's just so much work, you know. It's so much work to have a push rod motor compete against a 4-valve overhead cam motor. But we're giving it all we got, and we're having fun.
All right. Well, hey, good luck tonight on Fair Derby.
Thank you very much.
I'm riding, and this is my passenger.
I'm the monkey.
You're the monkey, right?
Yeah, monkey on the Australian bike.
So how do you like this racing in America?
That's good. Yeah, I like it a lot. This is where I'm from. This is where I always ride at. And these guys came over, and he's short a passenger, so I jumped on his bike with him because my rider's out.
Oh, so you're local?
Yeah, so I'm a local. Yeah, this is pretty much my hometown.
You're from Australia?
Yeah.
Which part of Australia?
Near Sydney.
So what do you think of racing in America?
It's pretty good. Wouldn't mind coming back later on.
Yeah?
It's very tight tracks, but it creates closer racing, and the crowd gets more involved. So yeah, it's good.
That's good. Okay, and what's your name again?
Shane Hudson.
And your name is?
Nick Hertrick.
Nick, where you been racing at?
I race Costa Mesa, San Bernardino, IMS, and Victorville.
Okay, all the local tracks.
All the
right?
local tracks that we all ride around here. Yeah, that's it. That's all we got.
So what's different about riding with the Aussies? Anything?
One of the things is you don't actually put your butt on the ground and drag your butt.
Yeah.
So you're always staying on the bike, and all you're doing is going forward and back. So it's totally different because you're not dragging. So it's like you don't have a brake. And these guys let off the throttle way less than we do, so they actually go wider, go faster around the track because they don't have to let up as much, and they have no brake. So when you put your butt on the ground, that's actually a brake, so you're slowing yourself down. We don't have to do that on the Australian bikes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good luck tonight. Have fun.
Yeah, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
mate.